Hi, everyone. Hi, Bejanae.
Hey, Dr. Houston, how you doing this evening?
I am doing well. Thank you all for joining us. I am Dr. Sheka Houston with Create and Educate. Um, we have developed a module system for entrepreneurs and authors that gives you information about how to best connect with schools, not only connecting to some of the school initiatives that are going on, but as well as how to approach schools to where you're solving some problems in schools and getting some more culturally relevant selections into schools for our children that need a variety of different things that we've noticed a lot of independent authors have to offer. And our grant guru, Miss Bejanae, is going to be telling us, and I'll let her introduce herself and tell us what she's going to be telling us about.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, good evening, everyone. My name is Bejanae Kareem. I am the founder and executive director of BK International Education Consultancy, and our primary focus is to amplify education equity. And we do that a variety of ways. One is helping educators. And when I say educators, I mean whether you're an author and you wrote a book that provides knowledge to others, whether you are a traditional classroom teacher, whether you're a school leader, where you are a daycare teacher assistant, whether you serve in a youth program, parent, family member, guardian, all of those are classified as educators. And our goal is to help build educators' capacity to create and sustain innovative learning spaces for children, regardless of their zip code, regardless of their background, regardless of their color. And so just like Dr. Houston, I was an educator in a classroom for many years. And what I come to find out is teachers are always spending out their pocket, one.
Mm-hmm.
Two, they're always looking for great resources for their students. And so with BK International Education Consultancy, that's why we're so excited to partner up for the power of collaboration with Create and Educate, because we also have resources for educators or authors on how to tap into free grants so that you can get books into schools. You can get books into schools, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So I'm going to pass it back over to Dr. Houston. Thank you again for having us on tonight.
Oh, most definitely. And I know for a fact that what Bejanae is talking about works because we actually Create and Educate has a partnership with an organization, the Pair Inc. organization, that received free grant money to be able to provide us books to give out on our platform, our Saturday morning PD that we do for educational leaders and educators Saturdays at 10:30 on our same platforms, but we give away the 10 Big Bets that's written by Dr. Gil Nome. He is a part of Harvard University, an associate professor with Harvard Medical School. So his grant allows us that opportunity, and he's partnered with us because that book really helps educators and leaders kind of navigate educating now during the pandemic. So those grants that Bejanae is talking about are out there. And just to give you a little bit of my background, I have been a teacher as well. I've been an assistant principal, a principal, and now I work at the district level. So one of the problems that principals frequently had, and one that I had to work through, was trying to raise achievement in the area of reading. Now, my school was a school of promise, and the majority of my students were African American students. But when you looked at the reading selections that we were providing for them for independent reading, a lot of the things that we were using for the curriculum weren't very representative of their culture. So when we started to be intentional about finding more culturally relevant books, what we found was that independent authors and people outside of our normal, regular, traditional ordering systems had better things that the students could relate to. And if you all are joining us, hi, Curtis. Thank you for joining us. Just say hello. Let us know you here. Tell us where you're joining from. And thank you for joining us. But what we saw was that some of the offerings were a lot better than some of the traditional things. And as an educator, I can admit we're very traditional. So we were just ordering from the same catalogs. A lot of the things students weren't connecting with. And that made it harder for students because when you can't connect to text, that's one of the literary strategies that's very necessary to be able to help students with student achievement. Hi, Dr. Thomas. Thank you for joining us. Hi, Cindy. Thank you for joining us. Miss Wheeler, thank you for joining us. So, what we did, we hosted a Christmas reading program over the Christmas break to kind of, we had momentum going with our students reading already. And hi, Mr. Missouri. What we did, we found all of these independent authors and they started talking about how they really weren't familiar with how to do business with schools. So, our module system that we created really goes into detail of what's the best things to connect to getting your books into classrooms instead of just the school libraries. Hi, James. That's my stepfather. Thank you. um, so getting your books into the schools and the best way to do that, and really showing principals how you're solving problems. They get a number of emails. So just kind of really making sure your verbiage is correct, looking at some of the forms you may have to fill out, and just really helping you through that whole process. Also, an author's visit, walking you through that, what that would look like, and filling out those vendor forms to become a vendor. And what we found was a lot of authors really felt like they were really excited about having written a book and having published it. And it's really exciting. I'm an author as well. And so they would just give their books away. And what they didn't realize was that, there is funding available, especially for literacy and building reading achievement. So you don't necessarily have to just give your books away. The funding could be available in certain pots of money that we have available for Title I, General Fund. But Bejanae is also going to tell you another strategy of getting your books in after you've gone through our module system with free grants. So I'm going to turn it over to her and let her talk about the free grants that you could get.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Dr. Houston, you are so right. It doesn't matter what year you're going to teach in, kids need books, schools need books. So if you are an author, you are in the right place tonight because we want to show you how to get your books into schools. And if you're an educator, we're going to show you also how you can tap into more books to help support literacy for your students. And so for me, I kind of started my grant journey out of necessity as a classroom teacher. If anybody knows an educator, I'm sure you have heard them say that they've had to spend out of pocket for this and that and for their classroom. And I was not an exception. Because I care for my kids, they needed this and that, and I would go willingly and go and purchase it. And one day it just clicked to me. It's like, there has to be a better way. There has to be a better way. And so that's when I started to explore grants and realized, oh, there are tons of funders out here willing to help support kids, improve their literacy, get them access to tangible resources to help them along their matriculation through school, as well as prepare themselves for adulthood. And we all know that literacy does that. And so I started along my grant writing journey, and in 1 year, I was able to write a grant and be awarded $4,000. $4,000. Now, if you're an educator and you're living on a shoestring budget and you're operating from a shoestring budget, that's like $1 million. That's like $1 million. But since then, I've worked on grant teams as well as other educational based projects that have been awarded up to $10 million. So let me tell you, you all, as an author as well, just like Dr. Houston, There is money out there for you. You don't have to give your books away. It is a win-win for schools. Raise your hand if you could use some extra funds to either get your books purchased or to have books purchased for your class. Like, raise your hand, put a chat in the comment, type in yes. We want to see who's interested. And so, similar to Dr. Houston, we also have a module set up that gives you all a cheat sheet. If grant writing is completely new to you, that is okay. That is what I'm here for. I use my education background to break down these concepts so that you have a cheat sheet and you have 12 steps to get you to writing your grant. And so it also comes with access to this little this baby right here. This is for the educators. 12 quick steps to writing winning classroom grants. And if you're not an educator, it's helpful too because it's a quick read. It has examples in here. It has colored graphics. It also gives you some little quick checks, some quizzes, and examples of awarded grants that I have written and were awarded funding. So again, you have a quick little cheat sheet here. And you have access to a module where it unpacks some more information for you, templates, the whole nine. And so we want to help see everybody win in 2022 because there is funding out there, especially since the pandemic. There's been even more funds to what they call Help Accelerate Learning. So you all take advantage of what Create and Educate has for you all and how to navigate the school system because it has its own language. And if you're not in there, if you're not in the school system, you may not know. And even if you're not a administrator, you may not know the buzzwords and what you need to have to set yourself up for success so that you can get your books into school systems. So let me tell you, you want to check out her course. I've checked it out. It is fantastic because there were some things I didn't know, and I was in the school system for over 10 years that came to light by taking the Create and Educate course. So I vouch for it. I definitely, as an author, I vouch for it.
Thank you, Bejanae. And just as Bejanae talked about, we have one module that's called Educanese because there is specific language that is very specific to educators that some people are not familiar with. We use a lot of acronyms. There's a lot of different programs, and it's easy for us to kind of help you navigate through which one of those programs your books may fit best with, and what's the best time of year to contact the principals, what's the best way to go about doing it, phone, email, that type of thing. So and this is, hi mom, that's my mom, so I make sure I shout her out. And Michelle, thank you for joining us. Yes, she was one of our star students, and we are actually working on her virtual literacy event. She has a book on random acts of kindness that is a phenomenal book. She's a phenomenal storyteller as well. So we love Michelle. Thank you, Michelle. But the modules and what Bejanae and I both have to offer, we actually have a package deal as well. If you would like both, where you could combine the packages because they would both actually be very beneficial to you as an author. And we also talk about how you can really set your authorship more up as a business versus a hobby, because we have found that happens sometimes too. Everything from setting up your website and how principals vet people by we kind of stalk you a little bit on social media because nobody wants any types of scandals or anything associated with the school or anything that could get bad press. So they do very extensive searches on just Google, websites, all those types of things are checked out. We also give you advice about if you have different types of books. Like sometimes we have authors who write children's books, but they also do steamy romance novels. So what you don't want to happen is somebody who's trying to find a book for their second grader to pull up your steamy romance novel and be, mortified about that. And usually our advice is to write under what we call two different pens. So that is also helpful because that's something else that people look at, especially in schools when we're doing these different types of searches. So if you have any questions for us, Bejanae, you want to tell people how to reach out to you?
Absolutely. You all can connect with me on IG if you like at BK underscore consultancy on IG. That's BK underscore consultancy. You can also visit our website at www.bkconsultancy.org. And as always, you can connect as well as on Linktree. So tree slash BK consultancy. So I'll see if I can put that in the chat for you all. So you all
Yeah,
can.
if you put it in the chat, I'll copy and paste it to the feed, and it'll go
Okay.
right out to the live feed. And I just put our website in the comments as well, www.createandeducate.solutions. If you click in the middle where it says conducting business with schools, that will take you to our website for that. There is another if you need more information, there's another video there that tells you the information, and then there's the links to purchase as well. So as soon as Bejanae puts her information in there, I will get that in there. And you can also send me a message on Messenger, or you can fill out the form that is on our Create and Educate page. So thank you all for joining us. If you have any questions, put them in the comments here, and we will answer those questions for you. And hopefully, you'll be able to get your books into schools as well as get a free grant to be able to do that. So we're hoping to create a win-win situation for you with the package deal that we have for you exclusively for tuning in with us today. Did you have any closing thoughts, Bejanae?
No, I just appreciate everybody taking their time to hop on and for us to be able to share because we want to collaborate with you all. And again, we want to see everybody win in 2022, and we can do that better together. So thank you all for joining us tonight. And we hope you all stay in touch. Stay in touch. Get those dollars. Get those books in schools, y'all.
Definitely. And there's no time like the present. Our students really need them. And I posted something today about legislation that's being put forward in South Carolina. One of the organizations that I'm a part of, Moms Against Racism, Miss Natasha, she is an activist and is speaking out against the legislation that is being put forward to try to remove certain things from being taught in schools that are culturally relevant, like teachers won't be able to say the word slavery. Teachers are going to have to start posting on a resource website every resource that they're using. And really, it's kind of like a way to target certain things for them to be removed. Hi, Dr. Larry and Jasmine. How are you all? Thank you for joining us. So these are the types of things that we definitely, if you're in South Carolina, you should be writing your congressmen. I think they're the ones who have put this legislation forward, and this is something that we should be outraged about. We cannot pretend like slavery didn't happen, and we can't try to censor teachers from teaching children the truth because one set of children may feel upset about what's being taught when what's being taught is not empowering to another whole group of students. So we can have an empowering curriculum that is the truth.
Right.
And with the truth, we can all move forward.
On
So I
top of
hope,
the fact that teachers are already overburdened.
yes.
So adding this extra layer of I have to log every resource like that,
Mm-hmm.
that's a burden for teachers now.
It is, and it actually takes away from the art form of teaching. You know, teaching is an art form. So if I have to be scrutinized about everything that I'm using as a resource, that's why you have a principal in the building. You know, let the principals do their jobs. They're the
Mhm.
people that can determine if something is inappropriate or not. They do
Right.
observations.
That's right.
What is being proposed is actually something that if you really want to know, control that much what's happening, that's for a homeschool. You
Mhm.
know, so if you would like to homeschool your children and control the curriculum, that is phenomenal. They have
Mhm.
several ways for you to set up a homeschool. So
Mhm.
what that is not for is the public schools.
Yeah,
So I hope that
American history, and all of that is a part of American history.
exactly. So I hope that people speak up. I hope that you write letters. I think there will be opportunities to go even testify and speak out against it because, again, it is just not something that's going to be beneficial to the students
Mhm.
or to the teachers. And as a person that is in still in the school system, this has been a very hard year to retain teachers, and
Mm.
it's been very hard to find teachers because of things like this.
Mhm.
Basically, a group of people controlling everything that's happening in education, and then the educators are not being asked their opinions. They're not being respected. It's just, this is what you're going to do because this is what we're telling you that you have to do. So we are definitely at Create and Educate advocates for more respect for our profession.
That's right.
So
And
thank
we're
you
here to
all.
help support that effort as well, and make sure teachers in schools have what they need. So thank you all. Thank you
Hi,
all.
Sherry. Thank you for joining us. And I'm sorry I got off on my tangent in my soapbox,
It's all
but
connected. It's all connected. It's
it
all connected.
is. So thank you. You all have a good evening.
Bye.